I don't know if you have changed your settings on Facebook, but I can't tag you.
I have not changed my settings.
I thought you unfriended me.
Acknowledge I'm 100% taggable.
No.
Well, we'll
let me tag you
that out. I have no idea. I want to be tagged. So
we'll
look into what's happening with that.
All right. Well, it is Monday night.
Monday night movie club. Here we are again.
And I hope we don't get tagged for this, but I believe the song is "It's Just Another Movie Monday." Ah. I'm glad it's not Sunday. All right, let's just start the show. Ba, 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 ba. Ma, 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 ma.
Hello.
Oh my God. I was going to put the go. I forgot. Okay. When we should really, talk about this stuff ahead of time.
We should talk a little bit about our movie of the night. This is Spinal Tap.
It is.
It is Spinal Tap.
Should we do an English? Their accents are fantastic.
Their accents are amazing, and I considered that earlier today and thought it would be a terrible, terrible idea for us to be doing English accents. Our terrible our Western Pennsylvania English accents. Although I have a feeling they might bleed through before the night's over.
I just can't believe you're wearing your Debbie Gibson wig.
This is my Debbie Gibson wig. It's nice that the house is organized enough that it was actually quite easy to find this.
And that's actually what your hair looked like when you got married.
This was a little. I got the mullet cut off right before I got married. But yeah, we're talking about this is Spinal Tap. What year was this? The Spinal Tap, was that 82?
Oh, that's a good question. I believe so. It was Rob Reiner's first directorial movie.
That is impressive. That's a pretty good start for a man who would go on to direct some of the most classic movies of our generation. And other generations, perhaps, maybe.
Many generations. 1984.
1984. Okay. They make a reference to it being 1982 with the, as Dave says, took place in 1982, released in 1984. I am disturbing. No, I feel like I put this wig on earlier and realized that I could be a drummer, maybe, for Spinal Tap. It's probably about as close as I could get.
Adam, it says that he is listening through his radio, yet he said you look disturbing. That's how disturbing it is. See it
of the wig
in the radio. By the way, Adam just had a birthday. Happy birthday, Adam.
Oh, happy birthday. That's awesome.
Unless there's another Adam Jones on my Facebook.
Drive carefully. And if you're typing comments and pull over to the side before you do that. We want to keep everybody safe. So tell us about your experience with This is Spinal Tap. I mean, you obviously saw this when you were younger, and
I honestly, I'm gonna be totally. I definitely saw it. It was like seeing it for the first time.
Oh, really? So it's been that.
I barely remembered any of it. Like there was nothing that was like, oh yeah.
And when did you watch?
Friday, right before our last show, because I thought it was Monday.
Oh, that's right, because you thought we were talking about it Friday.
Yeah.
So you crammed it in on Friday.
I crammed it in on Friday to get ready for it.
That's awesome.
So Spinal Tap, obviously, one of the first mockumentaries
yes.
Of the time.
Yes.
Although it's funny because when the film opened, people told Rob Reiner, you really should have used a more well-known band for your documentary.
Well, I mean, that is impressive because it does come across incredibly realistic. Well, and it's interesting too, because I was thinking about, manufactured bands, and you get sort of two genres of manufactured bands, right? Where you have this band who was made for this movie, but the people in the band are playing the music.
Yeah.
Right? Like they are Spinal Tap, right?
They are actually playing it. Yes. Michael McKean, Harry Shearer,
the Monkees. the Monkees were at least always singing. It was always them. But then you get bands like The Wonders, from Tom Hanks' That Thing You Do, which there are definitely homages to this movie in that movie, where it's actors who are lip syncing in the fake band.
Yeah.
You know,
that shake and go wig. You have a shake and go wig, according to John.
He said, I feel very rock and roll. Hello.
Hello, Cleveland.
So, yeah, absolutely.
The biggest thing about this movie is really the cultural phenomenon and the references. The fact that the radio in a Tesla goes up to 11.
Well, well,
it's one louder, isn't it?
It is one louder.
Why would you not want that?
Yeah. There's so much to talk about this movie.
There is a lot. And, you know, I think you should post the link and let's engage people right away. Cause I think this is a movie people know if they haven't watched it recently, they still might have some input to put in on this. And we definitely want to hear people's opinions, reviews, if you will.
The review you had on Shark Sandwich, which was merely a 2-word review, just said shit sandwich.
Sandwich. Okay. Now are we gonna get tagged? By the way, if you're watching us Friday,
yeah. Well, I don't think we have not gotten tagged for short movie for audio clips.
That's true.
And so I always try to keep them 10 seconds or less to make sure that we don't get pumped. Tagged. Sorry, I was looking.
Very much like I'm really influenced by Mozart and Bach, and it's sort of in between. It's like a Mach piece, really. What do you call this? Well, this piece is called "Lick My Love Pump."
So I'm going to. I think you have to wear a wig more often. I'll be honest. Oh, it's gone already.
It's not bad. I know it's not as bad as it is. It's just warm.
The look flipping through as I was going on to post the link on the Facebook page, it caught my eye. I'm like, what show is that? Oh, it's us.
Oh, well, how about that?
So maybe I should get a wig. I have a wig.
I talked to that woman. I said this is probably the first time I watched it through in its entirety for a very, very, very long time. And just an overwhelming amount of stars. So many celebrities, even if they're only in there for 10 seconds. You know, to me, that was the most amazing thing was the people that you'd have. And some weren't huge at the time, but they went on to be huge.
Some were nobodies.
Right. Absolutely. I shared with you Friday evening. We were talking offline about one of my favorite moments was Billy Crystal talking with Dana Carvey.
Changes, get the dwarf cannolis, the little ones. Okay, I did the bird. Come on, don't talk back, huh? Mime is money. Let's go. Come on, move it.
Mime is money.
Mime is money because they're both dressed as mimes, but waiter mimes at the party, which they never address. Right? They never make a big deal about it. And it's Dana Carvey and Billy Crystal, and just a charming moment. So
the trivia for this story and the back and forth that you can find out about this is unbelievable. There's so much to know about this. And speaking of trivia, Artie Fufkin's here again.
Oh my gosh, is it Artie?
You know what
Fufkin
I want you to do? Will you
already?
do something for me? Well, do me a favor. Just kick my ass, okay? Kick this ass for a man, that's all. Kick my ass. Enjoy.
Shirt on. Look at
I'm
that.
asking, I'm telling with this. Kick my ass.
All Schaefer in all his glory.
Okay, I honestly.
Oh, I got to move that banner.
All right, so that's a big banner. That is. So here's
there's the shirt.
You know, oh wow, look, I thought I went all out with the wig.
That's one of the shirts. I decided not to wear this one, which is a little more less.
Nice ass. Is there a snake on that?
That's fantastic. All right, so I'm just gonna get this out because I'm not afraid, of a little controversy. If we disagree about movies, the Woody.
You're allowed to be as wrong as you want.
So here's my stance. This movie is absolutely perfect. This movie, beginning to end, hits every beat The timing is right. The directing is amazing. The comedy is so point on. No bit seems to really drag on to the point where you're like, will this please end so we can get to the next scene? And it's so well done that even like my kids running in and out of the room thought I was watching a real documentary, right? They have no idea until they would stop and listen and be like, what are you watching? And it's like, but it honestly, I mean, and what's funny is I say this, it's not one of my favorite movies of all time. It's not in my top 10.
But
And he gives it a 28. Thank you, Eric.
Well, I thought I'd give it 11.
One louder. Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder? These go to 11.
The original work,
Much.
the original work print of it was 4.5 hours.
That's amazing.
And Rob Reiner, the way he would edit it, he said he was a brutal editor, and he just chopped and chopped and chopped. Then he would bring McKean, Guest, and Scheer in, and they would work back and forth, and then he would make another cut.
Oh.
And he said he left a ton of great stuff, but it made a better movie cutting it out. And watching some of the deleted scenes, that's absolutely true. There's some great deleted scenes, but I can see why they're not in the movie.
I mean, the movie's 85 minutes, right? I mean, and so I actually watched it twice in the past week. I actually watched it Thursday, and then about 8:30, I thought, you know what? It's been quite a few days. I wanted it on in the background, and so and even the second time through, it's like this. Every moment, if you walk into it partway through, it's like it really is. It's just an amazingly well done movie.
Now, I posted the actual trailer from it, but
Right.
the Rob Reiner trailer, which is the one that I think they created for the movie theaters.
The
where
cheese
they play-
rolling.
Yeah, they play the cheese rolling. And if you look at it, all the guys in Spinal Tap are in the
Yeah.
cheese rolling. Even Ed Begley Jr.
Yep, Ed Begley's in it.
Ed Begley Jr.
Yes, Ed Begley Jr. Yes,
yes,
he's the king of cheese.
He's the king of cheese. And it was a video that they basically made. He's like, please, theaters, please put this in your theater. And it was just funny. He kept showing his 2 Emmy Awards from All in the Family. And it's funny because he literally had no footage from the film yet.
They were still editing. Yes,
They weren't ready to even put together anything. And
Just trying to get.
yeah, it was really good.
One of the funniest deleted scenes is the discussion between Marty DeBurgi and Billy Crystal's mime character, where he's going into the history of how the company came to be. And the company name is Shut Up and Eat, because that's what his dad used to always say to him at the dinner table. And he did this because he wanted to be an actor, but he could never remember his lines.
That's awesome. See, but I adore the fact that Billy Crystal is only in it for like 7 seconds. I love that about it.
But mind you, 1984, Billy Crystal had done Soap.
So, right.
And he done Running Scared maybe at that point.
I believe Running Scared was around then, so he probably was filming it. But yeah,
So he was definitely not a famous person there. Like that wasn't really a cameo. That was a part. That was a role.
right, that got edited down. Well, Dana Carvey especially.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dana Carvey didn't get much at all.
Well, he was less well known than Billy. I mean, Billy Crystal was at least on a
Right.
Yeah,
popular
Running
network.
Scared was 86.
Okay.
Princess Bride was 87. So pretty much it was The Love Boat, All in the Family. He was on one episode of All in the Family, which is probably how he got to know Rob Reiner.
Yeah.
I mean, he did 75 episodes of Soap as Jody Dallas.
Right.
And then pretty much that was his first movie.
That's
So there you go.
That is amazing.
And some of the people they brought in at the very last minute. He said, I don't remember if I think it was the commentary I watched with Guest, McKean, and Scheer. They said that Howard Hessman, they called up the day before and said, can you come in and do something for us? And they created that character because they had hired this guy to play the rock star that comes through. And they said he looked the part. He looked perfect. He could not speak. He could not he could not, do the. So they said, we need somebody else to do the vocal, do the speaking part. So they had Hessman come up, and they quickly whipped up this idea of his manager coming along. And they said, he's Howard Hessman. He said, he's brilliant. He can do it. No problem.
Absolutely. We'd love to stay here and chit chat, but we need to go in the lobby and sit.
Wait for the limousine.
Now, Howard Hessman, by the way, who's 80, born the same year as my mom, he had not done a ton. If you look back at his resume, he was on Laverne and Shirley. He was on Mary Hartman, The Bob Newhart Show, Soap.
So he had done quite a bit of TV.
I mean, WKRP was out, actually, 78 to 82. So, yes, WKRP had already happened.
There's a common note there, though, which of all things is Laverne and Shirley, because you have Michael McKean, who obviously was on Laverne and Shirley,
who is so unbelievably he is so unbelievably brilliant,
which led to Lenny and the Squigtones. And
right.
The very first appearance of Nigel Tufnell was Christopher Guest playing guitar on the album Lenny and the Squigtones.
Wow,
that's really funny.
Yeah,
and Rob Reiner was married
as Nigel Tufnell.
What's funny is that and the thing is, from like a TV show like that, and characters like Lenny and Squiggy, that could have been the end of either of their careers.
The nadir of his career.
Right. David Lander is the Peter Scalara / Alex Winter of that.
Right.
It's like whenever you have two people, it's always one of them does this and one of them is down here. It's when you have
Tom
Hanks. Buddies, Lenny and Twiggy, Bill and Ted, Laverne and Shirley.
So true.
Eridan.
Now, we've both gone in different directions, but we've both been very successful within our
DJ,
Eric.
Wonderful comedy, from what I understand.
Yes, although the Eridan documentary, which someday might be revealed, was really, I think, much better than Spinal Tap.
That's
because we sold over 1 billion records.
Amazing.
And the music is just perfect.
The music, and I don't enjoy. That's not my kind of music, to say the least. But it is so well done.
McKean, Guest, and Shearer wrote all the music, and then the three of them plus Reiner wrote all the lyrics.
That is absolutely crazy, because it does fit so well into that genre. But I enjoy even like the flashback music. Like I've annoyed my kids for the past week going around going, "Give me some money."
The vintage pieces, the "Give Me Some Money" and the Flower People. They were so. I mean, you would have easily confused them with coming from that era.
Yes, absolutely.
I absolutely loved Paul Schaefer.
Oh, Paul Schaefer's amazing.
Just the way he introduced himself to everybody,
Arnie,
which is so record producer type.
Well, and that Kick My Ass thing, that is based on a real story. There was a record company executive when Lenny and the Squigtones were going on, that for this one appearance, they were supposed to have all these things ready, and none of it was done. He had just completely dropped the ball. And he went up afterwards and was apologizing profusely and was like, kick my ass. I mean, that's exactly what that came from.
I mean, it's just what I find so amazing about this is that the interviews do feel so genuine. The banter feels so completely improv, which obviously a
lot of it was.
Probably was. But you can tell there's obviously bits that weren't, because they had to have worked things out ahead of time and maybe multiple takes. But like the first song that they wrote together, and as they're just kind of riffing and trying to remember the melody and the word, it all seems
all the way home.
So, by the way, the film was improvised, like you said, and the four main performers, Rob Reiner, Christopher Guest, Michael McKean, Harry Shearer, went to the Writers Guild and actually tried to give proper credit to everyone in the movie as a writer.
Oh, jeez.
And the board of directors voted unanimously that the credits should stay as they were.
Yep.
Only including the four of them, because they wrote the story. They might not have written the dialogue, but in the editing and the producing, they actually wrote the story. So can you imagine that written by was the same as cast?
Double the length of the credits.
Now, I pulled up some trivia
Did you now?
because I figure Dave knows more than both of us.
I believe that's probably true.
But
About both things.
yes, but Eric, you've watched it twice in the last 72 hours.
That is
True.
mostly true.
Okay, so I'm wondering if Dave could beat you, knowing that you've watched it twice.
I think it's incredibly likely that he would still beat me, but I'm up for a challenge.
All right, and Ray Pepper, who is watching the show, has a movie trivia question which he could throw in later. But we're going to do a few of these questions very quickly. We're not going to keep score. This is just for fun.
All right, just for funsies.
It's not Friday night.
No, it's not. So we're
This is just an exhibition. This is not a competition. So please, no wagering.
are we alternating turns though, or are we yelling out the answer?
I'm going to try the yell out.
Okay, we'll try the yell out.
Just to raise your hand because I can see you.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Wait. Actually, I should move the camera. I should move the.
Oh boy.
No, it doesn't work.
Oh boy.
All right. Besides their exuberance and raw power, what other attribute did the band possess
No.
that knocked out filmmaker Martin DeBurgi?
We both know it.
Dave had his hands up first.
But
I
we both
know.
know it. It's their punctuality.
Punctuality.
Very true.
Yes.
How many members have been in Spinal Tap?
Oh, he does throw out that number.
37?
Yes. Wow.
Wow. I would not have gotten that.
Okay, they're about to celebrate their new album. What's it called?
I mean, the one that they're touring for?
Yeah.
Oh, smell the glove.
Oh,
All right. I think you just covered this already, but what was the name of the first song that Nigel and David wrote together?
I'll be all the way home. Absolutely.
All right.
Out on the 519, then I'm gonna know what sorrow means.
What is St. Hubbins the patron saint of?
Oh, is it casual footwear? Is it
Quality footwear.
quality footwear? Well,
They are treading water in a sea of retarded sexuality and bad poetry.
That's nitpicking, isn't it?
that's just it.
When they arrived at JFK, they're supposed to be picked up. What is the limo driver holding? What does the sign say?
Oh, I forget what it says.
Spinal Tap.
Spinal.
Okay. Just a schmear. What venue did Spinal Tap appear with second billing to the Puppet Show?
Oh, wow.
Puppet Show is the headliner.
Yeah.
And Spinal Tap, right? Is
Spinal
it?
Tap opened for a puppet show.
But where were they?
Yeah.
They were at a fair. I know that, but
It has a very generic name.
Wow.
Dare I say an ironic generic name?
I got
Nothing?
Nope, nothing.
Themeland Amusement Park.
Nice. Awesome.
The first drummer, John Stumpy, died. How did he die?
A bizarre gardening accident.
That's right.
Correct.
That's right.
And what type of bread did Nigel want backstage?
Larger bread. He just wanted bigger bread.
You
Okay.
want to do all the folding,
You're like, oh, and then you fold this, and then it's all bad.
and then you have to keep folding.
He's like, no, you just fold the meat. I folded the bread breaks.
I'm a professional.
And that was inspired by Van Halen's rider that stipulated no brown M&Ms.
But do you know why Van Halen had the brown M&M rider?
Yes, that was to prove that the venue and promoters were paying attention to the rider so that more important things would be taken care of.
Exactly. It wasn't like an arrogant, like I'm racist. I will have no brown M&Ms. It was for that reason. And actually, totally side story. I saw an interview with Sammy Hagar, and he said when he joined Van Halen, it was his band. Because when David Lee Roth left, David Lee Roth ran the band. Like he did all the stuff. Like the Van Halens had nothing to do with it other than the amazing music that they wrote.
So he carried the cricket bat.
He was Janine.
What was the name of David and Derek's concept for a musical?
No.
You're a naughty one.
Oh, that's right. Saucy Jack. Awesome. I forgot Jack the Ripper. That's awesome.
What
It
was the
reminds me of Forgetting Sarah Marshall. When they have the puppet. You've never seen Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
Nope.
Whoa. Okay. So I won't say any more then.
what was the name of their original band?
Oh, I forget.
The Originals?
Oh, that's right. The Originals.
They were the Originals, then they became
The New Originals.
correct. But the New Originals changed their name to
The Regulars.
right. So
Wow.
then they went back to the Originals, but what's the point? And then what did they become?
The Thamesmen.
The Thamesmen.
And that was actually the Thamesmen that did Give Me Some Money.
It's fantastic.
Because Derek wasn't in that band. That was another bassist.
Oh.
What was the brand of Nigel's guitar amp that went to 11?
That was a Marshall, wasn't it?
It wasn't Marshall.
And Marshall actually made them that gold plate on the front with the 11s on it was made for them by Marshall.
Very nice. And of course, the Polymer Records promotion man,
Artie Fufkin.
Artie Fufkin.
Artie Fufkin.
Yeah, I recused myself from that one.
Yes. Let's do one more. Do you know? But this is one I know that I read on IMDb, so you both might know this already. But their drummers all had nicknames that were related to what? The names were John Stumpy.
Yep.
And then his replacement was Eric Stumpy Joe Childs.
AKA Curly Joe.
Right. So they are all
Three Stooges reference. Yeah.
yeah, the Curly Sham. It was all names.
Yep.
And how did Stumpy die? Oh no, he had a bizarre garden accident, but his replacement, Eric Stumpy Joe Childs, how did he meet his demise?
The official report was that he choked on vomit. They don't
You
know.
can't dust for vomit.
Somebody else's.
Dust for vomit.
But what's funny is I had an old friend who did that joke when he said somebody choked on their own vomit. He's like, can you choke on someone else's vomit? Apparently he had not seen this movie.
There you go.
And part of the reason you see them to react in the scenes where Marty DeBurgi is recounting the reviews and they're reacting to them, Rob Reiner had written these reviews and had not told them. So they're hearing them for the first time, which is why they're like cracking up with the shit sandwich.
That's awesome. Which is it comes across very
Spontaneous.
authentic.
And the fun thing, another trivia fact, this is not a question. Obviously, Dave knows his stuff. During the metal detector scene, the background voices making announcements over the PA are all the band members without their English accents.
Oh, that's
So
fun.
Terry Shearer, Michael McKean, and Christopher Guest.
The drummer actually was British, and they
Which
were
one?
The one that was there for Smell the Glove.
Oh,
They were. Which one of them was commenting? One of them was commenting that they were really worried how the movie would play in England because they were a little worried about how accurate their accents were, and they said they never got a single criticism of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought they did great. Their accents. I thought they're very realistic. Yeah, I'm with Eric on this. I can't find fault in this movie. I do not. It's not 100. It's not. It's I want to know more about it. I'm so looking forward to Wednesday. If you donate money to the Democratic Party of Pennsylvania, I donated $11.
Very nice.
Then you can get a link, which I have not received mine yet.
Nor have I.
Good. Hopefully, I was like, oh, hopefully they're going to give it to me. And they're doing a reunion. Excuse me, I'm afraid to hear that.
When they did their tour in '92, which is where this shirt came from, it took, I think Shearer said it took them 18 months to get the rights because they had to go through, this was, mind you, this was less than 10 years later. They had to go through 3 bankrupt companies to finally find the rights holders, which was like, a French perfume company that owned the rights to it. And it took them 18 months to get the rights to use their own characters because they were so strapped for cash when they made it, they didn't retain the rights.
Wow.
They eventually got a license so they can appear as Spinal Tap, but the license expires 3 years from the time it's last used. They have to appear as Spinal Tap at least once every 3 years to retain that license.
which explains why there has been quite so many.
Doesn't have to be a long, it doesn't have to be a full concert or tour or anything. Just an appearance as Spinal Tap.
That's hilarious, and they could do Stonehenge.
The problem may have been that there was a Stonehenge monument on the stage that was in danger of being crushed by a dwarf.
I think you should be able to buy Stonehenge, little mini Stonehenge monuments. I think that would be a great collector's.
They've run with that subsequent things. They had an appearance once where the prop was made too large and they couldn't fit it on the stage. And then if you have the Blu-ray with the bonus disc where they show there was a benefit concert they did, the two side pieces come down and the top never comes down. So the druids dance around it and they take them off, and then of course the top comes down with nothing for it to set on. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then of course the pods with Derek stuck.
Those pods are awesome,
and he's stuck in it.
Yep.
Well, and I do love how this movie sort of unfolds, right? Because you get the the opening, Rob Reiner sort of going on about the band, and then you get right into some footage and crowd reaction, and everything is great.
Looks like a good concert. Everybody's having a good time.
This is going to be interesting, and then just everything just goes.
Cancellations, small venues,
just.
Fred Willard on the airbase.
Oh my gosh, the airbase is amazing. That whole scene, and how many hours? Like 250 hours. Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah, but as you were saying, Eric, the number of, Fred Willard's another one. Angelica Houston.
Oh my gosh! Right?
The number of people who at the time may not. Certainly Patrick McNee, Fran Drescher. These were known actors. These were pretty famous people. But a lot of these people were not known at that point.
Well, Fran Drescher, how famous was she at that point?
I think she was pretty well known. Was that before or after The Nanny?
The Nanny was 1993. That's way before The Nanny.
Yeah.
Oh, so where did I knew her. I'm trying to remember where I knew her from.
Oh, did you know her?
Oh,
yeah. I knew her.
Is this a name drop? Is this a name drop? She's got 71 credits. Her first credit goes back to 1977. She was in Saturday Night Fever.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, interesting.
She was a concert goer on an episode of SNL, uncredited. She was an extra. The first big movie, she was one episode of the TV series Fame, one episode of the TV series 9 to 5. Dr. Detroit, she was in the year before.
Okay.
I used to love the movie Dr. Detroit.
I remember that.
Utter garbage now.
Dan Aykroyd, right?
Dan Aykroyd, absolutely.
Doctor. Doctor.
Awesome.
She did an episode of Alf.
Oh, well, there you go.
Well, there it is. Well, it sounds like he definitely tapped a lot of TV, actors of the day.
It also is probably people they knew through improv because, all three of them are incredibly gifted improv performers and probably knew a ton of people.
Well, look at all three of them were on SNL.
Mm-hmm.
People forget Michael McKean was on SNL.
That is true.
There was a funny story. I was trying to remember who it was. Somebody famous. Oh, it was the Gallagher brothers of Oasis. They went to see Spinal Tap play live, and their opening act was the Folksmen, which is also their character from the movie A Mighty Wind. Liam was bored with the folk music, so his brother. There it is.
Nice.
Did they open the night you were there?
No, I don't believe they did, if I'm remembering right.
Oh, wait, The Mighty Wind was 2003.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Liam was bored with the music, explained that the Folksmen were being played by the same actors, and then Liam became distraught when he realized Spinal Tap was not a real band.
When I saw multiple accounts of bands, like Uriah Heep and these people who say it's a painful movie to watch because it is so close to reality.
Yeah. Gene Simmons said Kiss. They had that happen in Cleveland, where they were in a theater and they got called. They're on the 4th floor and they went down to the 1st floor thinking that's where the stage would have been. And like, where the hell's the stage? And they're like walking around and ended up it was on the 3rd.
They got the idea from that, I believe they said, from a Tom Petty concert they saw in Germany, where he went out the wrong door and he ended up on a tennis court.
Whoops. That's awesome.
You find love where you can. Anyway, Steven Tyler said he took the movie very personally because it came out when Aerosmith was at a low point. And the Stonehenge scene looked a lot like the cover of the 1982 album, Rock in a Hard Place. What else?
There was a scene in the deleted scenes about Derek Smalls had been working on his solo album. It's a Smalls World.
Nice.
It is ranked #1 on Entertainment Weekly's top 50 cult films of all time.
Hmm.
And IMDb has a custom rating for it because it's the only movie that's out of 11 instead of out of 10.
And what does it get out of 11 though?
7.9.
Oh, ow.
See,
Wow.
there it
Mind
is.
you, you can only rank it up to 10, but they display it as 11. It's
Yeah.
just a
So does that mean it's really an 8.9 out of or 6.9 out of 10? Or how do you have to do that math?
We've got, armadillos in our trousers. I mean, it's really quite frightening.
Christopher Guest, of course, a very funny guy, has done a bunch of these mockumentary movies: Waiting for Guffman, A Mighty Wind, Best in Show, Spinal Tap, Mascots.
I've not watched any of those.
oh. At least two of them are brilliant. Waiting for Guffman and Best in Show are both brilliant.
Yeah, not purposely. It just never
I realize, yeah.
crossed my radar.
We
So-
never saw Forgetting Sarah Marshall either, so
It's true.
So my Harry Shearer story,
Uh-oh.
my name drop story.
I'm gonna do this first. Go for
So
it.
I'm in New Orleans at the New Orleans had a little film festival, and I sit down. The lights go dark. We watch this little film. I hear this laughing behind me. Like it sounds. God, it's this very it's very deep kind of laugh. I'm like, I was with my buddy Bert, and the lights come up, and we turn around. It's freaking Harry Shearer. He's sitting right behind us. And we introduced ourselves, and I was doing my radio show there. I said, "Hey, if you're in town for a while," he's like, "Oh, I live here." I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." He goes, "New Orleans is the antidote to Hollywood." He's like, "I have to get out of New Orleans or out of Hollywood, and I come here I live here at my house." And his wife's name, who I'm forgetting, is a musician, and he has her CD, or no, he has a brochure. He's like, "Oh, my wife's playing at this place. You should come down. She's a great musician." And
Shearer? No, I'm sorry.
Mrs. Shearer, yes. Oh, what is her
Harriet.
name?
Rhonda. I thought it was Rhonda Shearer.
Harriet Shearer.
It is not, ironically. Harry Shearer's wife is not Penny Nichols. That's his previous wife. Also known as his ex-wife.
Penny Nichols. Penny Nichols.
That is a bad name.
Let's think about that name for a second. That is such a made-up name.
Well, her cousin was Dime Quarters. So, well, Bailey Quarters was Dime Quarters' sister from WKRP. A lot of people know her much more famous sister, Bailey.
Dang, Penny.
Then there were the twins, the two bits.
Yes.
Oh.
Judith Owen. They're still married. They've been married since 1993.
Nice.
Harry Shearer, by the way, 76.
And still rocking.
He just a few years ago won a major lawsuit against whoever currently holds the rights because he claims that I think it was the music, some of the music royalties have been withheld from them for years. He sued them for some 9 figures. Then like a year later, Reiner, Guest, and McKeon all joined the suit and they settled a year or two ago. Yeah.
Wow.
For undisclosed compensation, they settled.
Yeah, and he's got a show that he's been doing forever called Le Show. And he gave me his card with his email address on it, which was Le Show at something, probably AOL. I'm guessing it back then.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure.
CompuServe.
And
That's right.
and I sent him, I said, "Hey, I've got this idea for this thing called Cushy Ripples," which was this game show host that I was just going around interviewing people and just make up a story, whatever you want to say about Cushy Ripples, just say it. And then I was going to edit it together as a story. And he wrote me back, "Well, I'm kind of known for mockumentaries. I don't really want to get involved with any more mockumentaries ever again." And then I thought, all right, that's the end of my Harry Shearer life. We're not friends now. And then the casino opened in New Orleans. They opened a Harrah's Casino, and I'm standing in line, and I hear that voice, which is very unique, and I turn around, and there he is standing with his wife, not Penny Nichols. And we had a nice chat waiting in line to get into the casino.
Wow.
I'm like, don't you know somebody? Like, can't you? Like, why were you in line with us?
Well, he wants to
Kind
get
of
away from Hollywood, so he probably, when he's in New Orleans, tries to act as normal as possible.
He does not name drop.
And I think we'll end it right
And he's
there.
got
It's a
Simpsons
perfect-
money.
Oh, he's got ridiculous money.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
I mean, insane
Anybody
money.
involved with The Simpsons has just got barrels of it. So yeah.
If Penny Nichols would have stayed married, she would have been 2050, she would have been called.
100 grand.
So Ray Pepper, who watches the car show all the time,
Mhm.
has a trivia question for us.
The general movie trivia.
General movie trivia question.
Let's hear it.
And I put it up on the screen, but it's quite big. We won't even see
Or
Dave.
we can read it. I don't know. Or do you want to
All
read
right, so what movie was filmed in North Bend, Washington, and parts of Seattle, made in 1993? Another movie has the exact same name, but here's the plot. Jeff Bridges is a disturbed man intent on abducting a woman. After numerous failed attempts, he manages to kidnap a young Diane, played by Sandra Bullock, who's on vacation with her boyfriend, played by Kiefer Sutherland. As time passes, Jeff remains determined to find out what happened to Diane. I have no idea.
Little movie about Jack and Diane.
Yes.
Oh,
Two little kids getting kidnapped in the heartland.
Up in Portland.
up in North Bend.
Yeah.
1993. I would have thought it was Sleepless in Seattle, but it's not.
Hey, different. That's
Different stars, different plot. But other than that,
Yeah, but now he says it's got the same name as another movie.
yeah.
So let's look at Jeff Bridges real quick. 'Cause
the Matrix. No, I'm gonna
that
Yeah,
would be
you
weird.
know the answer to that one. You've stumped us once again, Ray Pepper. Curse you, Ray Pepper.
Could it be?
What was it? Debbie Downer?
And by the way, it was not Sandra Bullock.
Oh, well, that makes it even more
Is
confusing.
that a flawed question?
Adam
Oh
Jones.
no! I'm sorry. It was Sandra Bullock, but she's fourth billed in this movie.
Okay.
Nancy Travis was the lead, the top,
The lead.
the higher billed.
Adam Jones asked if it wasn't called The Disappearance.
Very close, Adam. Very close to The Disappearance. Anyone else want to try?
I got nothing.
No.
It was called The Vanishing.
Oh,
I like Jeff Bridges a lot, but I'm not familiar with that movie.
I don't know that one. Doesn't sound like a comedy.
No, drama, horror, mystery.
And wackiness ensues.
Ironically, Park Overall was in it.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
from
interesting.
yeah, she was on Empty Nest.
Huh? Yep. With Richard Mulligan.
So I think we should rate Spinal Tap 1 to 100 or 0 or 1 to 111 if you want. No, 1 to 100 just to keep it from getting out of control. And
So put it in the comment section. You can put your 1 to 100 score.
yeah, so assuming
He's easily in my
this is
top 5, so.
All right, Eric, do you want to go first? Do you want to take them from the comments?
here. And as I said, I'm slightly controversial because again, this is not one of my favorite movies, but to me, the movie is so perfect that I am giving it 100 because I feel that there is absolutely no reason that anybody in their right mind would not enjoy this movie. And so I, based on that alone, I feel it's got universal appeal. There's something for everybody. It hits so many wonderful, wonderful notes. I give it 100.
Wow, I almost did a spit take. Oh my God.
I know. I'm crazy like that.
Dave?
Well, I have to admit. So the question to me is, because there's people that feel this way. No movie should ever be given 100 because that leaves you no space to ever rate anything higher.
I understand that.
But if I am going to go on movies that exist and I like, and I like this more than Airplane, which I believe I gave it like a 95 to. I'd probably give it 100.
All right.
Oh my God.
How about that? Look at this. We
Now,
might
now you can't even just throw out the Russian judge.
we might
Well, speaking of, here's Adam. Adam gives it a 72. He says he
bring it
guesses
up, he's rounding
not
it
in his right mind.
a little bit.
Little dose of reality there.
Exactly. Well, so while we're waiting for anybody else's score and Dan's score, we can take a look at where our ratings have been. Of course, I don't know how to get rid of the bottom graphic, but interesting. There we go. So this is the rankings we've had thus far. And Back to the Future ended up with a score of 95.
And it looks like it's going to retain the top spot.
I think it probably will, most likely.
I think number 2 might fall, but it's going to retain top spot.
Let's see where this ends up.
I cannot give it higher than Back to the Future. I just can't do it. Not going to do it. I'm wearing a Biff's Garage T-shirt right now.
No, and I understand that. And
I
I
spent
got a
so much
Hummer
money. I've spent so much money building a DeLorean and a Marty McFly car or truck.
I believe you did give Back to the Future
I
higher.
gave it a 99, I
You
believe.
gave it a 99. Okay.
Because I agree with Dave. No movie is 100 to me.
See, to
This
me,
is-
I love Back to the Future. I actually might like Back to the Future more than this is Spinal Tap, but Back to the Future, I realize has problems and
Back to
realize.
the Future has tons of problems. I agree with that.
And this movie, to me, this is Spinal Tap. I've got no problems with it at all.
Okay.
Let's hear what you got.
I'm going to give this movie, it's in the 90s without a doubt. Back to the Future has tons of flaws. I mean, there are continuity issues, there are plot line issues, there
But
are
none of them take away really from your enjoyment of the movie.
Exactly.
none.
And that's
You
the
don't
key.
notice it. Yes.
Right.
And this is another movie that I feel if it's on, and I couldn't have said this before, I just rewatched it because, like I said before, I didn't remember anything. So I'd seen this so long ago. I probably saw it 87, 88, 89, the last time I saw it.
Right. Some of the
So,
best in life. Okay.
and I'm a huge fan of all 4 of the main people, between Rob Reiner, who, by the way, was not in it because he was supposed to be a band member originally. And Harry Shearer said, "You look horrible in spandex."
That would have been a whole different movie.
Oh, totally different movie. So
Although Viv Savage does not look great in spandex, the keyboardist.
true.
This would have been more Rob Reiner in the movie.
He did the comb over. That's nice.
I did. I went with the comb over.
I'm gonna go 94.
94.
Okay.
All right. Do we have anybody else left in the comments who have not yet had a chance to rate This Is Spinal Tap? I think that might be everybody that's watching at the moment, at least.
Well, I haven't heard from my mom. I mean, I don't know if she watched it
I don't
recently.
know if your mom. I don't know if your mom's joining us tonight. She is not. Usually, she says hi.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. She might have been watching.
You just brought down the room, Eric.
I know.
Ray Pepper. He's never rated a movie yet.
I don't know if he has. I don't know if he's seen this movie.
Now we have another movie we have to rate tonight.
That's true.
We do. And I discovered in talking with Dan, we realized we had watched another movie that we had totally forgotten about. One of our first movies ever. We're not going to rate it tonight, but on the list of things to be rated is Weird Al's UHF. So we will.
And that I might have to rewatch before I could rate it. It's been way too long.
Yes, we want a fair rating, but this was months ago that we watched and talked about UHF. All right, so I think we're good. I think we're good here. This is Spinal Tap comes in at a 92.
Yep. That
Which
sounds
is
about
very
right.
respectable, puts it at number 2 for us in our ratings.
And well above number 3. Only the second movie to hit the 90s.
That is true. That is very true. So right in between Back to the Future and Galaxy Quest, I'm very comfortable with that.
Yeah.
I think that fits in there very nicely.
There
I
were a
completely
ton
agree.
of plot lines that they cut that if you catch some glimpses of them in the deleted scenes, and others there are mentioned. Like after Nigel left, Janine brought in a replacement guitarist for him.
Oh my gosh, really?
This young hotshot San Francisco guitarist he sort of looks almost like David, but he's younger and prettier. And they had one concert with him, and he's like upstaging David constantly, and it did not go well.
Those are the kind of stories where you're like, man, I had a really good role in This Is Spinal Tap, but I got completely cut.
Yes.
From the movie.
He was completely cut. And there also was you remember this is, I think, somewhere in the trivia about the cold sores that they show in the one scene.
Yes.
Because there would have been an entire subplot about this opening band that they toured with that had this really pretty woman as the front woman. And what they were going to have is
it was an all-female band.
Yes. In each scene, one more of them was going to have the cold sore. Like she clearly was sleeping her way through the band. And then there's a scene where they all vote to kick her out, everyone except for the drummer. And he's the only one who doesn't have a cold sore. He's like, but they're really good. Why are we getting rid of these guys? I don't understand.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. So I think the other movie we're going to rate tonight, and I feel bad because, Dan, your mother asked about this last week. You need to text your mother and get a score for It's a Mad, 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 Mad World.
Well, we have one other that needs to be rated too, don't you?
We do. Do you want to instead, since your mother is not with us tonight, do you want to do Dolomite Is My Name? It's the other movie we have to rate.
We might want to keep Mad, 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 Mad World for when Dan's mom's around.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you real quick.
You can ask her.
I thought we did Dolomite.
No, we have not done Dolomite.
That may have been the last one before you started rating, because that was...
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was the first one we rated.
If we rated it, I didn't write it down what the response was.
Oh.
No, I'm pretty sure we never did Dolomite. But if your mom's available, we'll do It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. So for those who in the comments, if you've ever seen the movie, what year is that? That's going back a ways.
Yeah, it is.
63.
1963. Classic.
Is that the oldest movie that we've watched, that you guys have watched?
When was The Bellboy?
Oh, that's true. Yes.
I think they both are 63. Oh, no, that might have been 1960.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but it's back there. It's definitely a classic.
Yeah. You've done 3 in the 60s now, because Take the Money and Run was also the 60s.
That is also true. That'd be interesting to see where we've balanced out. I realize we have not done a lot of things 2010 to 2020.
Well, I did Game Night. I think that's the most recent one that you've done.
We've done a couple.
And Dolomite. That's right. Dolomite would be the most recent. Yeah.
So
that's 2019.
All right.
Any response from your mom? Are we doing this?
Oh, wait, I see the.
You're getting
okay. Oh. My mother gives it a 90. Oh, wait.
9008.
908. I will go ahead, and I did really enjoy It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, but it's not something I know if I would purposely watch again. So for me, we're in the 80s. I'm gonna like an 82. I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it, but it was long for how much I'd probably want to watch it again.
That's my chief criticism of it, is it could have been 20 minutes shorter, maybe even a little more trimmed. But it was still very good. It just needed a little bit of trimming. It dragged in a few spots.
Exactly.
Well,
so
it's
I'd give it
official.
about an 85.
All right, so my mom does give a 98 to Mad, Mad World.
Nice.
And she's not watching tonight because she never saw Spinal Tap.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
Fair. And,
What about the fact that her son's on?
You'd be talking gibberish.
Yeah.
So Adam gives It's a Mad, 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 Mad World a 70.
Okay.
And
He found it boring.
How about you?
I really liked it. I don't know that I liked it for the movie as much as the nostalgia of seeing these classic comedians.
Oh, yeah. All those stars.
A lot of them before they were huge, and this being them when they were huge.
Ability of it, because you enjoyed it the first time for seeing it with those people.
I probably would watch it again.
Okay.
Okay. I'll go 85.
85. Okay. I think that's everybody. You locked in your votes. Which
Double tap your screen to lock in your vote.
That's right, exactly. Which lands It's a Mad, Mad World at 84, tying it with Airplane.
Just barely behind Galaxy Quest.
Absolutely.
Adam felt that movie seemed like a lot of it were just in it for the paycheck. Yes, and the paycheck was not too big, so.
But definitely, as I remember, and again, it's been a while since we've watched this one, it felt like they just got so far and then they're like, we need this to end.
Yeah. Despite it being overly long, it ended suddenly.
Yes, it was like, okay, and all right, let's just wrap this up and be done with it. We have no idea. And so it didn't feel very satisfying when it was after you finally waited through all of that for how long it was. And it's like, oh, okay, fair enough, you know. But I mean, it's excellent. It's really,
I do enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, that leaves us with just 2 more movies that we will be rating in the upcoming weeks. Dolomite Is My Name and UHF. If you haven't seen either one and you want to play along with the ratings, you can watch those. But more importantly, for next week, we need to decide what our movie is for next week.
Do we want to leave the comedy? Or do we want to stick with comedy as always for the Monday night show? Like we could do a Wednesday horror night.
Horror?
Or sci-fi or
whatever. You know, yeah, I think maybe, you know, even if it's just Friday night, we could take one Friday a month and watch a movie of it.
We should switch to all documentaries.
That's right.
No. What if, okay, we've done mockumentaries, we've done kind of scary movies, we've done sci-fi comedies, we've done some time travel comedies.
With this.
I'm trying to think what we haven't done.
We haven't watched animated movies. We can watch the B movie, Jerry Seinfeld's animated. My kids love that movie.
It's a movie that had one idea, and it's in the title.
Absolutely right.
It's literally a B movie because it's definitely not an A movie.
It's very quotable for the kids.
Animated movie is an option. I mean, there are some great animated comedies.
There are.
Or even half animated like Roger Rabbit or something like that.
How about Adam says a dramedy, although dramedies are typically TV shows. Not a lot of movies can stick around as a dramedy.
There's rom-coms.
Oh, you have romantic comedies. That's true.
I've done a romantic comedy. I think that is a wonderful idea.
How about we go, speaking of Billy Crystal, let's go back to the classic. When Harry Met Sally.
Harry Met Sally.
Oh, okay. All right. Get ready.
Now, Eric knows that movie.
I am very familiar with that movie, but I will watch it again and be delighted. So,
okay, so we change it up slightly.
I like that. I like the idea of a romantic comedy, and yeah, that to me is the quintessential.
Now, Adam has a good point about The Aristocrats, which is hysterical. It is a documentary. If you haven't seen The Aristocrats, I do recommend it. He's not talking The Aristocats, by the way.
I realize.
Yes, it's a whole different experience.
Yes. I went to if you want to hit the line again, Eric, go ahead. Another name drop coming.
Uh-oh.
I went to a screening. I went to a screening of The Aristocrats with the creator, Paul Provenza. And on the stage was Paul Provenza, Penn Jillette, and Sarah Silverman. And Paul Provenza was wearing leather pants, and you could hear him moving every time he moved his legs. I'm like, why are you wearing leather pants? And why is your microphone that good? But if you haven't seen that movie, I don't think we're going to do that as a movie ever. But it's all about a joke that is just the filthiest joke of all time.
I think that movie would be fun to watch in a theater full of people. You know, I watched it at home, you know, with just me and my wife. It was all right, you know.
Yeah, and the secret to The Aristocrats, and the reason it became a huge deal, was Gilbert Gottfried, who Adam just mentioned does the best one, hands down. I don't know that I agree with that. But Gilbert Gottfried at I think the Hugh Hefner roast, one of the roasts, did a 9/11 joke right after 9/11. And the crowd just was like, oof. So then he goes right into, this family walks into a talent agent. And he does the whole bit, and it's all about, you know, this act, and the wife is doing this to the husband, and then the daughter starts doing this, and the kid's shitting, and the dog's licking balls. And it's just nuts. It goes on and on. Balls and nuts. It goes on and on and on. He goes, it's very interesting. What do you call it? He goes, the aristocrats. Which most people don't even know what aristocrats means. So to some people, the joke's not funny at all. But the best part of the joke is anybody can tell it, and you can make it as disgusting as you want. And Robin Williams is in it, and
George Carlin,
Bob Saget. He was also at the thing. It was Bob Saget, Paul Provenza. It was the four of them were up there. Bob Saget might have been wearing the pants, but Bob Saget told a story about when his daughter was born, and a bunch of comedians came over. I can't tell what he said, but his daughter was like a rough, like she almost died in childbirth, and it was really rough. And she's laying in the bed. And he said the really disgusting thing to his friends who came to see his daughter, because Bob Saget is one of the filthiest comedians of all time.
Oh, yeah.
Yet he's known for being.
He's amazingly, which is so funny that he went on to Full House.
Yes.
When his stand-up was so inappropriate.
And you just know that after Full House, there were people coming to his stand-up not realizing what they were coming to.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my.
Yeah.
Let's go see Danny Tanner. Let's go see Danny Tanner. Danny Tanner's doing stand-up.
I do really like the John Stamos commercial of theirs now, though. The one
where he's
knitting the scarf. Yes.
I've not seen this.
Oh, yes. Is your hair this soft?
Yeah. To be John Stamos.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've done an hour.
That's fantastic.
So.
I'm super excited. I'm pumped for When Harry Met Sally. It does not seem to be streaming anywhere for free at the moment, but you can sign up for a 7-day CBS subscription and watch it that way if you don't already own 4 copies of it like I do.
We've been on a roll since we went through that dry stretch where Eric hated every movie we watched. We've now been on a roll of movies Eric's really enjoying.
This movie, yeah, I was going to say, honestly, I will be honest, I was not sure how I was going to feel about this as Spinal Tap. Like, I sat down, I mean, like, I knew there were bits that I enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I also was prepared that, like, and honestly, it just 20 minutes in, it was just like hot cocoa. It all went down super smooth, and I'm like, this is fantastic. It's a great movie.
Can't argue.
It is on CBS All Access. There is a very funny Funny or Die did a very funny video of the sequel to When Harry Met Sally. Have you seen that, Eric?
I've seen that, yes.
I'll put that in the comments for next week.
There you go, since you can't play it on the...
No,
let's not get shut off again.
That was insane last week.
That was funny. We will be more careful now.
Yeah, last week I had notices in my message box that basically said, let me see if I can pull this up. And it was like every record company, Warner Music Group has blocked your video. UMG, which is Universal, has blocked your video. Sony Music Entertainment has blocked your video.
Polymer Records has blocked your video.
That's right, Polymer Records, of course. Artie Fufkin.
Polymer Records.
Absolutely. All right, hold on, I got one more.
We say, love your brother. We don't say it, really. But
We don't literally say it.
no, we don't say it.
We don't really
at all.
literally mean it.
So let me ask this question. If they did a reboot of This Is Spinal Tap with new actors, who would you put in?
Ooh, nobody.
Yeah, first of all, you'd have to have improv people. I mean, that's the key. You have to have people who can improv, because otherwise it just would have never worked.
I mean, I think you would need somebody who was sort of young and relatively early in on their career, as you know, maybe
10 years ago, Steve Carell could have done it. If he has, I don't know if he has the musical chops, but Steve Carell has the improv chops to do something like that.
But at that point, why if you're going to go with people who are already in their 50s or 60s, you know?
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you were doing that as 2020, here's the scary part, right? So they're saying that they started their band in 68, and in 84 they were doing 24 years later. So this would be people who had started their band in 94.
Wayne Brady.
Adam's got it. Adam nailed it. Jack Black, Ben Stiller, and Will Ferrell.
Jack Black could definitely do it.
Terrible.
I'm not sure about Stiller's musical chops.
Yeah, I don't know about that. That's a good.
Maybe he could be Rob Reiner's character.
Because Wayne Brady has both the improv and music chops to do it.
Black,
Will
100%.
Ferrell, Jack Black, obviously. Will Ferrell, we know he plays a massive cowbell.
Well, he's Gene Franco, yeah.
Yeah, I need more cowbell.
Just
I got a
The
fever.
one thing you need is more cowbell.
Cowbell.
I just don't see why you would need.
No,
No, you
that's
wouldn't
how you
do
know
it.
it's a
It would
great
be
movie.
It'd be terrible. It would be terrible, and I don't think it would work. I don't think
And yet, how many times has Hollywood remade classic movies?
When has it worked?
Almost never to any positive effect.
I would say A Star Is Born worked
That's true.
Yes,
because they remade it 3 times.
Mhm.
I think The Jazz Singer.
True.
Because you have the
I've
original
never
one,
seen
then you got
the
the
Jolson
Neil
version
Diamond
to
one.
compare it with. So.
Yeah, I haven't seen the Al Jolson one either, but
I mean,
it is the first talkie.
last night we watched the reboot of Charlie's Angels, which was a reboot of the TV series.
Oh, that's right. They did
Yeah.
another movie, didn't they?
They did. They do another. Patrick Stewart is in this movie. Not as bad as you'd think. We watched that. We had a little movie night last night. We watched that and Bad Boys 3, and Charlie's Angels came out on top.
Wow. A good example would be Planet of the Apes.
Oh,
Whether you think the original was a classic or not, it was a very good movie with some real twists in it. And the Tim Burton thing, just what were you thinking? I mean,
Star Trek, obviously, they rebooted that with the film.
yes.
Anytime, like Back to the Future, they're always saying they'll never do. And honestly, I don't think they need to.
No, they shouldn't.
now, I mean, whether they will in 20, 30 years or something like that, that's something different to consider. But I mean, like right now, like to reboot Austin Powers, why? Right? Why would you want to do
Mike Myers is too old to reboot Austin Powers, and who could do it but Mike Myers?
And that's the problem, right? When you get a movie that's so,
So character driven with
one individual character, I'm sure there's a script out there.
Okay, the Karate Kid reboot. Adam is right.
I've not
with
Jaden
Will
Smith,
Jaden
with Will
Smith.
Smith's son, yeah.
was crap. Although I thought it was weird that in the original movie it was wax on, wax off, and in the new movie it was jacket on, jacket off. Which I'm like, wax off and jacket off? That's weird.
I missed that.
You didn't notice that? Am I
never-
the only one that noticed it? Because you never hear anybody joke, but maybe I get to own that joke.
Maybe
Wax off, jacket off. But Cobra Kai,
I've
I
never
really
watched
like.
Cobra Kai yet.
I like it.
I've heard people talk wonderful things about Cobra Kai. I've not watched that.
Well, you can do new movies or new shows in the same universe as something without ruining the original by
right.
trying to remake it.
Now, Adam brings up to Austin Powers 4, they've been talking about. Mike Myers had said, he wrote it. It was going to be based in the 80s. And one of the characters was the Guru.
From the
And then
Love
he-
Guru?
And then he realized the Love Guru could be its own character. And stupidly, he made that instead. That was supposed to be a character in Austin Powers.
He lost right there.
He was sitting in the bathtub. I think that's the one. He was in the bathtub just doing the Love Guru character and couldn't stop doing it. And he's like, it's infectious.
Well,
Now it's racist.
you can't hit them all. You can't get them all. We're not getting Shrek 5 yet. I know, that's a good thing.
Well, you have me beat, Eric. I think I only have 2 copies of When Harry Met Sally. You said you have 4?
I don't even know anymore.
I have 0.
I may have kept my VHS copy. I don't know. There were certain movies I did. I'm like, I got rid of them, like 98% of my VHS tapes. But my Matthew Perry and Jennifer Aniston explaining how to use Windows 95 VHS on. I mean, I dubbed it to a computer file already, but having the original VHS tape just seems special. So I may have kept my my When Harry Met Sally VHS. But no, I probably only have maybe 2. I don't think I bought that even on Blu-ray.
Yeah, we have 2 DVD copies. The only reason I still have both is I think there's some different extras between them.
Ooh.
And yes, we will talk about that movie next week.
Yes, at 9th. And we'll be back Friday, as always.
Friday. And I'd like to talk, we talk about doing some TV stuff, talk about TV shows. I'd like to make Friday's topic this week a little bit about, TV shows that got canceled too soon or got canceled without ever having a finale, or all that's out there is the pilot.
That's a great idea. That's a great theme for this Friday.
We're going to do a theme Friday, TV shows.
Cancel culture.
Yes.
Wait, is that being used for something else right now? Maybe we shouldn't call it that.
Yeah,
Just don't play any clips. Don't play any clips.
Some of the shows we can play clips of because no one's going to claim rights to those.
You don't
They're
trust
that
the bots.
bad.
I wouldn't
Don't
put
trust
video.
the bots.
I wouldn't put video or a theme song on. That's all.
All right, we'll have to write our own theme song.
Because
Such a fine line between stupid and clever.
Well,
Very
they put a
fine
twist on it. It's sexy, not sexist. Yeah.
exactly. Oh, yes.
Well,
All right.
Good night,
Well,
guys.
it's been fun. Good night.
Thank you
We'll
very
see
much.
everybody next week.
See ya.
Why should you make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder?
Oh, there you go. Good night.
To 11.